and cowardice, I will choose violence. I am not for violence as a solution. I'm opposed to it. I explained just now why. It consumes all of us. At the end of the day, people may win small victories. I'm from a village that the center of violence between 2002 and 2006, and the world, Guyana and the world, are yet to understand how that violence has destroyed my village, the impact. We are rebuilding our village. Those 4 years of violence has done untold destruction. The raping of women during those 4 years, unspeakable. And nobody, not the government, not the supporters of the gunmen, nobody has come back to that village and said, how can we help in post-war Buxton? Because it was a war on our soil. By external forces. The gunmen didn't originate in Buxton. And then the government sent in their phantom to deal with the gunmen, and our village became a graveyard. To this day, we have not fully recovered. The first time I'm speaking openly on that thing. And I, along with Kwayana and Andaye, were the only 3 Black leaders who, when Indians were being killed, they passed through Buxton, they beat them, some of them came. We were the only ones who couldn't condemn it. Does the PPP remember that? Oh no, Kwayana is the biggest racist. David Hinds is more racist than Kwayana. We who defended the Indians when they were under attack. So what I study and what I see about ethnic violence, I do not wish that on my country. But like the Mahatma, if I had to choose between cowardice and self-defense, because if you are responding to the violence of the state, you are doing so in self-defense. So I think the time has come to defend ourselves. No violence. No violence. The objective of our self-defense must not be violence. It must be freedom. Let the violence come from those who they got violence on the brains. And they usually want to goad us, they provoke us. So when we respond in self-defense, they say, you see, it's violence. But Marley said, he who lives to live, he who fight and run away lives to fight another day. What it means that you got to fight smart. You don't fight to get killed today. The hotter the struggle, the sweeter the victory. That's what Brother Bob said in the song Jamming. Or he's in one of the two. So think it's time for self-defense. We have to figure out forms of self-defense that are short of violence. That's where we are. I noticed Patrick Yard tell the workers they must go slow, they must think at first glance, I would say, Patrick, you're right, but Patrick, you are the leader. You must lead the workers. There is time for a general strike in the public service. The last time the public servants had to go on strike was 1999, and the PPP at that time was forced to set up a tribunal. Clive Thomas, my party leader, Dr. Armstrong, and the PPP had a man, I think it was Gobin Ganga or one of them. They set up that arbitration tribunal, and that tribunal made recommendations to the PPP for the public servants, which the PPP did not honor. To this day, it does not honor them. But the point is, this is not time for a trade union leader, in the face of the violence, the economic violence, to say to your people, to say to the members of your union, they must go slow. So you're telling them, you do what you want to do. No, you are the leader. And the public service union must go on strike. Withdraw your labor. Because if to them your labor means nothing, your labor means minus 7%, minus 10%, the labor means nothing. I'm in a Bob Marley mood tonight. Didn't my people before me slave for this country? That's what Bob Marley asked. Didn't my people before me slave for this country? I build your cabin, I plant the corn. Did my people before me slave for this country? You look in my face with scorn and eat up all my corn. And I must sit down because of my fear of violence enveloping our society. You are counting on that. You are banking on the fact that we are not a violent people. You know, the likes of Black people are violent. If Black people engage in violence, society, it was violence against the most violent institution in human history, slavery. We're not really violent people. If we were, given what they did to us for 400 years, we would have been violent 24/7. We are not a violent people. And we must not pretend that we're a violent people. And we must not allow people to pin violence on us. But we are a resistance people. And we must resist. We must defend ourselves. The unions must call out their workers. The time has come for the unions to call their workers out on strike. Withdraw your labor. And let's take it from there. Some of you are too young to remember. But in Linden, In the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s, when the unions didn't want to call strikes, the workers would call strikes and force the union to endorse their strike. The Askria group in Linden in the 60s and the early 70s called a series of strikes at the Bauxite Company. When the government of the day wanted to take the insurance money after nationalization to put it in something, the workers went on strike. It was called the Ryler strike. To the 1980s. 1983, a brother Leach dropped down on the job because in those days, you know, there was scarce food, items scarce. People had to go to work in the morning. They couldn't afford breakfast. And the workers went on strike and forced the union to endorse strike. 1983. Your unions don't want to take action. Workers have to organize themselves. And you have to look to new and alternative leaders to lead you. We cannot sit down anymore. Workers, this is the end of the rope. You can't get worse than this. These people have no shame. They give you 7% and tax it. You have no shame. They give you as a little frack. Then you no pay rent since 2019. Then my people before me slave for this country and continue to do so. Is our people who have to educate our children. And our teachers, when they walk into those classrooms, then get Indian and Black and Amerindian. They walk into that classroom and they give of their more than their lives. Sometimes neglecting their own children. When the teacher got to stay up, stay in class, stay till 5, 6 o'clock. They won't pick to the home and they're there educating our children, our nurses, our policemen and women. And you cannot compensate them. Even if you're giving a freck, you don't give them a big raise. No, we have reached the end of the rope. It is time for action. We have to balance our anti-violence position with a pro-resistance position. It's time to strike. It's time to strike. And I am also repeating my call to undermine the government. I said in August, and I'm saying it again, a leader doesn't have to tell you how to undermine the government. There are many ways. If you used to spend your little couple dollars shopping here, stop shop there, stop somewhere. Christmas will come. Only buy from Regent Street what you have to buy, what you can't get nowhere else, and what you definitely need. Because you know what? They were enablers and they are enablers. Undermine the government, continue to do so. Because it's your money that is spending on Regent Street. That they just take and give to the PPP as contribution for the election so they can get into government to beat you. You own money. Or people say you own cash money. When you go on Regent Street, or you go to somebody else's market, and you spend your money there, they take that money and they donate it to the PPP war machinery, war purse. Let's get real. There are some things we can't get in our community. There are also, our people like to sell things there. Me a little boy, me auntie send me a shop, send me a market. Me take part of the money, me buy shave ice or wherever, me go to Miss Booker, because Miss Booker, then he's the mother, there's where me auntie used to send. And you charge 5 cents, Miss Booker make up she face, and she give you the thing. Me can't know me auntie and know me the charge 5 cents. When we selling things in the community, we want to sell there because we want to make all the profit today. So that then drive our consumers to go to the other market where they're going to sell them it little cheap. Never mind is all kind of nonsense that they're putting in the plan them these days. But the point is, we got to change our ways. Our business people must be concerned just not of it, but they must be concerned of building a business community and a business network. You lose a couple $1,000 today because you carry your price down a little bit. You get it back tomorrow because your money is circulating in your community. Black people got to stop selling things there. And our consumers have to give and take. If you can get something in your village, when I get plenty manure inside, and you got to pay a couple $1,000 more to get a better quality squash or bora or okra, it's better than to go and buy the poison somewhere else. In any case, they don't say they want poison you. You're not being racist by sustaining yourself. The village economy has to be rebuilt. Undermine this government. Do not engage them when they come into your community with nonsense. He's a judge used to say black man too licorice. Licorice. They come, they wave a couple $1,000 and we running behind them, crying bitter tears. Oh God, the opposition, the coalition, they don't be so bad. Thank God for the $10,000. We got to get off that nonsense. Because a lot of time we're doing it in order to trick the people. But when you trick them, you end up tricking yourself. Linda is saying there, do not purchase from the private sector, do not go to their malls, do not go to their markets and supermarkets in Georgetown. Buy only if it's a case of life and death that will cripple them. Simple. Thank you, Koke. Thank you. You're going to go and get a degree. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's start. Stay off Regent Street, only buy food, please. We have to start somewhere. Sonette, thanks. Let's start. We have to lead. We have to do what we call self-activity and self-organization. And we start by doing what we can do on our own without leaders. Nobody ain't got to know that. Nobody ain't got to know it. The revolution will not be televised. When you undermine it, it's not televised. Undermine the economic partners of the PPP. Undermine. Those of you that take your children, waking them up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I send them far in them other community for lessons in the morning. They come out for afternoon, you send them there for lesson again. Send them to lesson in your own village. Soon it will be Christmas, but Christmas without them, yes. Hosea. We have to change some habits. I agree with you 100%, but how many of us are there that we can support? Well, that's what I'm saying. Insofar as we have entrepreneurs in our communities, support them. But the entrepreneurs, they have to know that they can't overcharge people. And now is the time for us to encourage entrepreneurship. It's a year plus now, we're saying boycott their business, but word on the street is our people are the ones flooding Giftland Mall. That's true. That's very true. And that is why we've got to start on these programs, encouraging that change of habit. We have to struggle. It's not just slam bam, thank you, sir, or thank you, ma'am. It's about organizing. It's about changing habits. In an ideal world, Africans should be supporting Indians in areas where Indians have the advantage, and Indians should be supporting Black people where Black people have the advantage. Where are the sugar workers who got $250,000? Where are the rice farmers who get $500,000? Where are their voices crying out that this is advantage you're taking on public servants? No. They're not giving us any solidarity. It may be out of fear, but it may be that they don't care. So we have got to start changing attitude. We must not be caught in this mess again. The PPP government has to go. It has to go. But it's not going to go tomorrow. It will go through sustained pressure. We must make it difficult for them to take advantage of us. See some foolish people believe that our problem is with Indian people. The problem not with Indian people. The Gregory got a line he used to say, it's when that potty, hillbilly, white boy make policy. And I'm asking the same, since when the ordinary Indian person makes policy, they don't make policy. How can they be my enemy? They didn't decide to give me 7%. It's not the Indian lady in Annandale or Manripo who make the policy to give public servants 7%. They're not our enemies. The people who make the decision to give workers 7% are the leaders. And my politics is not against ordinary people. If Black people start taking advantage on Indian people tomorrow, I will be in the forefront to say, no, you are wrong. I have done it in my life, my political life, many times. You don't defend your enemies. I will defend Indian people and Indian people because they're not my enemies. But I will not defend the government. They have to go. And since our Indian brothers and sisters will not be in the forefront, it is we, the opposition, we, mainly Africans and the other ethnic groups who support the opposition, it is we who have to remove this government. It's no good. It's not me, it's just me saying that. Chris Ram saying that. De Silva saying that. Glenn Lal saying that. Alan Fenty saying that. Yuri is asking, Yuri comes from a famous family, the Westmus family. He's asking, are there any political leaders who are willing to ground with the ordinary Black people in the village? Yes, Yuri, look one sit down here. Look one sit down here. So even if it's one, and they're more than one or two. We don't get the publicity. We don't get the thanks. But yes, there are leaders, and there have always been leaders, Black leaders who go into the communities. From the time I set my boots in Guyana, before I get there, my party would organize community meetings for me to go to. So yes, they are Black leaders. We need more. You see, the leaders in the political parties, they would not want to be seen in Black communities ground in Yuri. And I guess they're the ones you're talking about. No. They wouldn't want to be, they wouldn't want to be seen doing that. So the Black party leaders are not going to do that kind of work, but to have leaders like myself. That's bread and butter for people like us. And that's what I'm saying. We have to develop different strategies, different leadership. We put too much of our faith in the party leaders. And the party leaders are showing that they have limitations. Every time a party leader come out and even condemn and use Black, your other party leaders will tell you this party is not Black. The PNC is the blackest party in Guyana. And it will say it's not a Black party. Blackest party. Is there an Indian running for leadership of the PNC? No. No. The highest profile elected Indian in the PNC was the treasurer. Amna Ali wasn't elected, but you can't call Amna Ali Indian. Amna Ali live like a black person. She's Indian. I'm sure she's conscious, but there's nothing Indian about Amna. So you can't even refer to Amna. The reason that you don't have Indians in the top leadership of the PNC is because the PNC is a black party. It's the blackest party in Guyana. And yet, despite that foolishness, we are a black party that is concerned about all races. And from the WPA, we are a party that is concerned about black people, but we do not believe in black supremacy. Simple. We are concerned about black people's issues, but we are not about black supremacy. We do not believe that black people are better than Indian people. And so we have to call on our leaders to do better. And if they don't do, we look for alternative leaders, alternative leadership. So the message is clear, sisters and brothers. The message is very clear. The PPP has declared war. It has declared war for the last 15 months. But this 7% is the end of the rope. Call on your leaders to take action. The workers need to go on strike. We got banned rebellion because when people go on strike, they need strike relief. And the rest of us have to be prepared to pitch in. We can't call for them to go on strike and just leave them on their own. Industrial action. We are not for violence. We'll try as best as we can not to be provoked into violence. But our anti-violence position must not be seen as cowardice. We must not be cowards. Claude McKay said, if we must die, then let it not be like hogs hunted and penned in an inglorious spot, while round us bark the mad and hungry dogs. No. No. Anti-violence must not be seen as cowardice. We will try not to be provoked into violence. But we have to defend our communities. We have to defend our people. We have to defend ourselves against economic violence. And then finally, the message, do what you can do to undermine the government, not just the government, but undermine the enablers of the government. Undermine the businesses. The little Indian lady selling she little thing at the road corner, she is not the problem. It's them who just come with a big truckload. They're from Black Bush, but they come a Pleasance market for sale. Like if they're from Pleasance, they're not from Pleasance. We have to undermine the enablers of the PPP. Not all Indians are enablers. Not all Indians. Not the ordinary poor little lady. But we cannot go to on the poor market and buy black pudding. Been at, I think it's been open market, on the poor market a couple of years ago. Me see a crowd. Me say, hey, what a crowd there. They say, oh, it's a lady selling black pudding. When me say black pudding, man, me go up and somebody say, there's black pudding for sweet. When me go, it's not a black lady selling the black pudding, but I almost fall down dead. You left Pleasance, BV, Boxing, to go man report market for buy black pudding. I am saying things that you can provide for yourself, you have no business leaving your community to go and provide for. East Indians come to black villages to buy what they do not produce. And that is right. Economics is about sustaining your community first. We have this big task before us. And Song in the Bell here, I hope my brothers and sisters on the other programs take up this call. I want you all, because I know when you all left here, you all gone to Sherrod. And you all got to tell Sherrod he got to support a general strike and he got to support the resistance movement. And then when you all left here, you all gone to Mark. You all got to tell Mark, Mark is a old warrior. But tell you I say that he got put on his roots again. We got to use these programs to mobilize. So that's my message. Thugs are governing us. Thugs don't care. Thugs promote violence through their policies and through their actions. Thugs are hooligans. And hooligans must be met by righteous indignation. Righteous indignation. So now we have, sisters and brothers, call to action. Call to action. Afro-Guyanese boycott them people's stores for Christmas. It's not like 7% wouldn't get very far anyway. Boycott, boycott, boycott. Thank you, Gloria. Spread the word. Just as we ask you all to spread the word and spread the link to these shows, spread the word that we have to start boycotting those who work against our interest. The Rice Producers Association, GAWU, NASI, none of them has come out and say, oh my God, 7% can't walk. So, you all come in peace, go in peace. Go in peace, spread the word. We are ready for action. Until that day, we Africans shall fight because we find it necessary. In this war of good over evil, we shall win because we are confident in the victory of good over evil. A speech made by the Haile Selassie and put into that wonderful song, War, by Brother Bob Marley. Good night. See you all tomorrow. Who we got on tomorrow? With Winston Jordan on tomorrow, who's going to explain all that is hidden behind the 7%. You know, the economists have a way of seeing the hidden things. So Winston's going to be here tomorrow night. And those of you who wake up early in the morning, I'm going to be on Kedaki in the morning, promoting and pushing this new movement of fighting back against thugs and hooligans. Good night. See you all tomorrow.
Please help keep Politics 101 on social media and broadcast television. If you are in North America, please donate via Cash App or PayPal.
If you are in Guyana and the Caribbean and don't have access to Cash App and PayPal, email your pledge to dhinds6106@aol.com and we will direct you how to get your donation to us. Thank you in advance for your donation.